In the Antarctic Ocean, 107 years later,
ship,
Endurance
their
was
vessel
finally
became
discovered
trapped
on the
amid
ocean's
millions of
floor,
tons of ice.
3,000 meters
7
deep.
months passed with the ship
Perfectly
standing
preserved,
still in the
with
same
its name
place.
still clearly
Then,
visible.
one night,
We hope you
they heard a
enjoyed.
loud noise from beneath the ship, and suddenly the ship tilted to one side. It felt as if someone had forcefully pushed the ship from below. What happened after that was beyond anything they could have imagined. Once again, welcome to ZMTV's videos. Viewers, the Antarctic Ocean is a place where waves rise as high as buildings, winds blow at speeds of up to 100 kilometers per hour, and the water temperature is so low that human blood can begin to freeze. Traveling through this ocean is like embracing death itself. Even if someone survives the cold and the waves, iceberg chunks as large as mountains have the power to crush ships with ease. But 111 years ago, when technology was not advanced and ships were not as strong, a group of 28 people became trapped in this terrifying ocean. Under the open sky, they did not survive for just a few weeks or months, but astonishingly spent a full 2 years there. As far as the eye could see, there was only ice, violent winds, lack of food, and no chance of calling for help. This is a survival story that the world later named the greatest survival story of all time. The hero of this story is Sir Ernest Shackleton, an explorer whose mission was to test the endurance of the human body. That is why he named his ship Endurance. Shackleton had carried out many dangerous missions in his life. In 1901, he was part of an expedition to reach Antarctica but had to turn back from 750 kilometers away. In 1907, he tried again but was forced to return just 150 kilometers before his goal. This time, in 1914, his plan was not only to reach Antarctica but to cross the entire continent on foot, simply because Sir Ernest Shackleton wanted to do something no one had ever done before. This mission was named the Imperial Transantarctic Expedition. Due to its extreme danger, no one was willing to join it. Shackleton's first challenge was finding a crew. He wrote an advertisement and published it in the Times newspaper. This was no ordinary travel ad. Its opening words were, "Men wanted for hazardous journey." It clearly stated that the pay would be low, the cold would be deadly, months of darkness would have to be endured, dangers would be constant, and there was no guarantee of safe return. Shackleton wanted men who were not afraid of danger. Soon, he hired a crew of 27 men. He had spent 4 years planning this expedition, but as the departure date approached, the dream began to fade because World War I had begun. Many believed the expedition would be cancelled, but Britain, despite declaring war, gave permission for the mission to proceed. The expedition required an exceptionally strong ship capable of cutting through ice-covered Antarctic waters. Such a ship was not easy to build, but fortunately, one already existed. A Norwegian company had built it for another explorer who planned to take elite passengers on Arctic polar bear hunts, but the business failed. Shackleton bought this ship and named it Endurance. Endurance was built from thick American oak and designed to withstand immense ice pressure. It was a hybrid ship, equipped with both sails and an engine. Finally, the long-awaited day arrived. On the 8th of August, 1914, Endurance set sail from Plymouth, England. For the next 4 months, it traveled through the Atlantic Ocean, first to Argentina, then to South Georgia Island. After completing final preparations there, on the 5th of December, 1914, the ship headed toward the Weddell Sea in the Antarctic Ocean. On board were 28 men and 50 large breed dogs, intended to help pull equipment across the Antarctic ice. After 46 days of travel, they were just 1 day away from reaching the Antarctic coast. But on the 18th of January, 1915, the first major disaster struck. Ice layers in the Weddell Sea grew thicker and thicker, reaching up to 18 feet. Endurance no longer had the power to break through. The ice was too weak in places to begin a journey on foot as well. Endurance became trapped about 130 kilometers short of its destination, Vassal Bay. Initially, they believed the problem was temporary, but it soon proved to be the greatest challenge of the entire expedition. After days of failed attempts, they tried to manually move the 300-ton ship by cutting the ice. After days of exhausting labor, they managed to move it only 300 meters before it became trapped again. After a month of effort, on the 14th of February, 1915, Shackleton gave up and decided to let the ship drift naturally with the ice, hoping it would break apart when winter ended. During this time, Endurance served as a winter station. The crew maintained discipline, played soccer, held discussions, cut each other's hair, and cooked together, waiting for the ice to open a path. Months passed, and emotional bonds formed not only among the men but also with the animals. In April 1915, the ice began to break, but instead of freeing the ship, enormous ice layers compressed against each other, placing immense pressure on Endurance. Though they managed to reduce some of the danger, the threat remained. On the night of the 14th of July, 1915, a loud sound came from beneath the ship, and Endurance tilted sharply. No one knew what had happened, whether it was a whale or something else. By morning, it was clear that the ship's rudder was completely destroyed. After 7 months trapped and 2,000 kilometers away from any civilization, hope rested solely on Shackleton. On the 18th of October, 1915, another massive pressure wave struck, tilting the ship 30 degrees. Cracks formed, water began to leak in, and despite all efforts, the situation became hopeless. On the 27th of October, 1915, Shackleton ordered the ship abandoned. Supplies, food, lifeboats, animals, and bedding were removed. The crew now stood on ice under the open sky as Endurance was slowly crushed and sank beneath the sea. Shackleton decided they could not remain there. He aimed for Paulet Island, 550 kilometers away, but lifeboats alone were not enough. The decision was made to travel on foot across the ice. Over the next 6 months, they faced deadly dangers: floating ice breaking apart, starvation, and extreme cold. They survived by hunting penguins and seals. By February 1916, after 13 months, they were surviving on 1 biscuit per meal. Eventually, they had to kill their dogs for food. Their drifting ice carried them not to Paulet Island, but to Elephant Island. In April 1916, after 16 months, they finally reached solid land. Elephant Island was barren and offered little hope. Their last chance was South Georgia Island, 1,300 kilometers away. Shackleton chose 5 men and embarked on a near-suicidal lifeboat journey on the 24th of April, 1916. They faced 90-foot waves, freezing temperatures, and navigated without GPS or compass, using only the sun and stars. After 16 days, on the 10th of May, 1916, they reached South Georgia Island, but on the wrong side. They climbed 4,000-foot mountains for 36 hours straight before reaching a whaling station. After several failed rescue attempts, on the 30th of August, 1916, Shackleton finally returned to Elephant Island and found all 22 men alive. They had left England on the 8th of August, 1914. After 2 years and 22 days, Shackleton brought his entire team home safely. Though he never completed his original mission, this survival story earned him eternal recognition.